There we go.
All right. Welcome back, fellow TFFL owners. Another TFFL webcast here, Wednesday, November 9th. We are looking ahead to Week 10 action now in 2016. I've just got two of our regular panelists here with me tonight, our commissioner and skipper of the Sponge Fishermen, Chief.
Hi.
Hank, czar and CEO of the K-Wheels.
Good evening, TFFLers.
And Berto is in Mexico. Better hurry back before we build the wall. Hopefully we'll see him back here next Wednesday. And actually, I'll be on vacation next Wednesday, so you'll have a trio next week as well. So we've just got really one more week of jockeying for position with these north-south battles before we really start getting back into the division games. For some teams in Week 11, you'll face both of your division opponents down the stretch to really settle things. 11 more days until the trade deadline. We got major controversies brewing this week. Lots to talk about. It's starting to cool down outside, but it's heating up in the TFFL. We're going to have some arguments tonight, and look forward to some tight playoff races down the stretch here. But first, as always, before we start our roundtable talk, let's get a TFFL trivia question out. Berto, who has been trailing in this all year in our competition, will not earn a point this week either. Really, no guests either. So, Hank, Chief, a chance to run up your lead. Real quick and easy. Name the one TFFL franchise active today that has never lost the Packed Bowl.
You mean they're undefeated in Packed Bowl finals?
Correct. Okay. Hank, I don't know what kind of graphics we've got, but in one way or another, why don't you give us a quick recap of the standings after Week 9 action, and then we'll start looking ahead.
I got to be candid. I got no graphics, but the thing when we just were talking about a little before we started, it's as tight as it has maybe ever been in our league right now. Maybe not overall, but between the conferences, it's just absolutely tight, and we've got all the inner games that are going to happen over the next few weeks. So it's exciting. The AMPAC, as we kind of mentioned, they're going to be a spoiler, and they put up 90 points last week, so they're going to beat some teams, and it's going to matter in the North. K-Wheels lead at 7-2. They're obviously feeling good, but we got some issues ahead and bye weeks to deal with. The Lizards are good. The Aliens are good. They're just a game behind that. Both are going to play the K-Wheels in the next 2 weeks. Giant Killers are lurking at 5-4. And as the Fats, so lots of things to be settled in the North. South again is also a mess. The Hams are looking good 1 week, and the Devils are looking good 1 week. The Sponges look good 1 week. Senators and Mongols have to go now, or they're going to be done. And the Beavers have been a little wobbly. So everybody knows what the score looks like. It's win now, or next year's coming.
Or lose.
Yeah, or lose. Yes, the obvious answer, or tie.
Really, the two teams with somewhat of an advantage at this point. K-Wheels have a 2-game lead in their division and the tiebreaker over the Giant Killers. So 4 games to go, a 2.5-game lead. An advantage, nothing locked up yet. Hams only have a 1-game lead over the surging Sponge Fishermen, but they too have a tiebreaker, a 2-0 division record. 3 weeks is the highest scoring team. I think we all look at the Hams and think that's probably a playoff team right there.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, so there's our standings again. One final week of North versus South action. That may just make things messier. It may give us a little separation. But then the division games, especially in my division, Aliens 6-3, Lizards 6-3, Fats 5-4. Nothing is settled there. We're gonna do that with the head-to-head games down the stretch. Same thing, Frank.
There's no more North-South games.
Yeah,
this is all South versus South and North versus.
My apology, but they're not division games until week 11. My apology.
I was going to correct you at the first one, but
okay, fair enough. Okay, let's get our controversy out of the way. It's worth noting, if for no other reason than the news value and putting a stamp on it here after week.
Guy won the election. What are we going to do?
So the Impact failed to start a full lineup. I just want to make sure I get my facts right here. Didn't start a full lineup in their Week 9 game versus the Aliens. The rule book makes clear such a violation is to be met with a 25-point penalty. That penalty was the difference in the outcome of the game, the Impact Aliens game. The commissioner, with the power that he has, overturned that penalty in consultation with league presidents, awarded the win to the Impact. I think there are people in the league who are perhaps unhappy with the ruling. There are those who might have done things differently, not saying right or wrong, but differently. There's been some discussion about this, and I just want to make sure people get to talk about the issues at play here. Hank, you've been very vocal on the side, and you wanted to have a few words.
Let me make 2 points. First point, I think Chief handled this excellently. He, as a commissioner, he looked at it and made a ruling. It was well within his guidelines to do so, and I commend him for such. Second point, we spend an inordinate amount of time making rules and going over the rule book and having a system under which we play a game for money. All right. And yes, it's for fun and, but we have a system, and this situation has arisen before. This exact situation. In fact, it is called the Beaver Rule for a reason. They didn't start a defense. And we at the time maybe did not consider all the repercussions of a 25-point penalty. I understand that, but it's written and clear, and we have decided to not enforce that. So I think it's a slippery slope. I think we are opening something that bothers me. And as I said, I respect how Chief looked at this. I disagree, and I don't like how this comes out.
You feel strongly the Aliens should have a win.
I feel strongly that the Aliens should have a win, and that this should be an AMPAC loss, and that the rule book clearly specifies that is the case.
Let me make clear, I've said all along the Aliens should have lost this game. We lost this game on the scoreboard, so I'm not advocating for that. Chief, what I would have done differently, I've said this, is I would have given the AMPAC a loss here as well.
Yeah, I don't know though.
Discussed with the conference presidents?
I'm sorry, what was that last part?
Did you discuss whether the AMPAC should get a loss?
No, I'm not sure how a game is played and both sides get a loss. I don't think, I don't want to be a slave to the website or anything. I don't think there's a thing I can do to the standings to give both teams in a game a loss. I could give both a tie if that makes you feel better. I suspect it wouldn't.
I do have the power in the TFFL archives to give them a loss.
That is true. That's true. Like I said, if yeah, it's messy. It can be done. Again, I don't want to say, well, we can't because the database won't allow us to. But just two guys played and they both lost. Just seems strange. So no, it didn't come up with the conference presidents. Actually, I basically wrote a rough draft of my ruling, sent it to the conference presidents, the rules chairman. I said, this is how I'm planning on handling it. What do you think? With very minor alterations. Everybody was on board with that. So that's what it is. I understand Phil. Phil's absolutely right in everything he just said. We have a rule book. We have a well-defined rules process, and the rule book specifies a penalty for this exact infraction. As you're both well aware of, sometimes during the rules process has a little bit of a mob rule feel to it. Not so much now. Now it's more of an indifference feel to it. But certainly in past years, especially when something was recent and had a little motion behind it, there's a few magnetic passionate arguers in the group who tend to bring the undecideds to their side. But this rule in this circumstance, it accomplished exactly what we tried to prevent. It screwed people who were depending on this games for the playoff positioning. So it's something that we applied it in one circumstance because the Thornburg thing happened. Okay, Thornburg just didn't want to make a move. He wanted to save his free agency pick. He wasn't trying to lose. He didn't care if he lost. He was in a playoff hunt. He wanted to win. So the penalty doesn't work if a team doesn't care if they win. So it was kind of the flip side of the coin. Instead of worrying about the winning team screwing up people's playoffs, it's the losing team in this case, or vice versa. So and I cited the rule book here in the ruling. It says right here, when necessary, the commissioner shall be authorized with a consultation of the rules chairman to establish rules to address issues that arise during the season that the official rules does not anticipate and or satisfactorily address. I think this clearly fits that criteria, and I felt comfortable deviating from the rule book.
I want to clearly say I agree with that. I think you handled that fine, and I have no problem with the way that came out. And as I said to you as well, I'm also just yelling out, shit. But at the same time, Ralph, what the fuck? You are the guy who argues with everyone, and you're the guy who doesn't start a defense. Why? Engage a little bit. I hope you're all right. I do. When we check in, I feel like you're good, but man, that's just ass.
Yeah, I did feel better when Rob said that. Well, I felt better on two different levels. When Rob said that Ralph had contacted him about a trade, and that Rob wasn't available to make it until the games had started. It shows that he is okay, and that at some point, probably after the free agency process, at some point he realized that he needed to make a move. Unfortunately, there was one team that was a possible trade partner, and being incommunicado doesn't excuse anything. He's known he's had one defense for all this time. He knew what bye week it was, but
and this goes to draft strategy. It goes to trading strategy, and Ralph and Michael and their cabal of swapping kickers and all this crap, and it falls apart.
We might have to put a pin in that theory, huh?
Yeah, he had a free agent pick, right?
Yeah,
he just missed. He was not paying attention.
Right.
He should lose that free agent pick too. Then
he has 3 free agency picks.
Right. 3? What? He knows the rules, and it's like he said, "Okay, fine, just dock me the 25 points. I'll take it." Okay, then do it. Dock him the 25 points. It says so in the rule book.
Chief, have we heard from Ralph? Have you heard from Ralph?
No, but I'm sure he's read texts and emails. I don't expect him to respond. He doesn't operate in real time, I don't think, anymore.
Well, and that concerns me. Ralph, I miss you. I hope you're okay.
I think I'll start compiling things into a digest and emailing once a week. Here's what you may have missed this week in the TFFL.
All right.
Enough of this, but Ralph, man.
Let's talk about some teams that matter this year at least. Ralph has a good team for the future. He just crushed the Aliens. Has some great young running backs we've talked about. We'll have some great draft picks next year, but he's out of it this year. So let's talk about teams that are in the playoff hunt. And one of the teams I want to talk about, we've discussed them a little bit already this year, but they fascinate me. The Dirt Devils came out strong, then they went on a 3-game losing streak, and I think we all started to write them off because, well, actually, before they came on strong at the start of the year, they had written themselves off before the season even started. So I think it was easy to write them off again after that 3-game losing streak. But now they've won 2 in a row. They are 5-4. Scores of 67 and 86 the last 2 weeks. They're atop their division. Those plans to rebuild in 2017 with a top rookie running back and all their extra draft picks, those have been scrapped. This team, I think, looks a lot like the Senators last year. They drafted lots of young players, but it's been the veterans lately. Frank Gore, Matt Forte, Richard Matthews. They've been carrying the team. The other similarity is Marcus Mariota at quarterback. So 2 quick questions on the Devils. Is Mariota good enough to really lead this team to a playoff berth down the stretch? Should the Devils be dealing some of those extra draft picks for an impact player that might help them stay ahead of the Beavers in that division?
Well,
go ahead, Chief. You take it.
First question is Mariota certainly is playing well enough right now to be a playoff caliber quarterback. I think he might be better served sticking with Kirk Cousins. I think has looked pretty good fantasy wise this year too. So I don't think quarterback is an issue for the Dirt Devils. And you ran down the list of veterans, and it's kind of surprising he's getting these performances from Richard Matthews and James White. You know, Frank Gore had a big game. But I don't know what kind of extra draft picks he has. I don't.
A second rounder in the Breeze trade, I think, if nothing else.
So I mean, if there's something there that's a good value, sure. I don't really think you deviate from your rebuilding plan and blow it up to have an outside shot at the Pac Bowl. And he's a contender. He'll win this division most likely. He'll host a wild card game. But is he really a threat to win the Pac Bowl? I would say probably not. Just looking at that lineup, I think you're looking for guys who have proven to be, mediocre over the course of their career, sustaining, some excellent outputs for 4, 5, 6 weeks in a row, or even 3 in the playoffs. So, like I said, if it's like everybody else, if the value's there, and first of all, it has to be a player there, and then if it's a good value, it's going to be a seller's market. Sure, but it's not something I think I want to blow up a well thought out rebuilding plan, for an outside shot.
You think the Devils have a well thought out rebuilding plan?
It's all relative.
Fair enough.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Kudos to the well thought out Nick. Yeah. Quickly, he got off to a great start because Cousins was awesome and because Spencer Ware took over for Jamal Charles and lit it up. Forte has come on recently, which is nice. But yeah, he's got 2 pretty good quarterbacks, and hopefully he picks the right one. He's got some old running backs that hopefully get some great legs as it gets cold going. And he's got some young receivers who, if they step up, he could do something. It's a lot of ifs, and but he's playing in the South, where he's one of the teams that's got a better record. Like Chief said, he's probably inside track to win his division already. And you never know. It's Nick. He does well.
You can make the argument he should be looking to be trading guys like Matt Forte and Frank Gore.
Yeah, you could. And if he loses a couple of games here in the next week or 2, he's gonna. But why would he? As long as he's got the division wrapped up. And I mean, you make the playoffs, and especially as a division winner, it only takes 3 wins, and you're the champ.
Sure.
Well, it's $250 for winning your division.
Yeah.
And Nick, frankly, is not a guy who's he's probably not looking right now trying to figure out trades. And so I'm not sure he's going to make a move. Certainly not trading away players that might hurt his chances of winning his division at this point. But it was just 2 weeks ago, I think, on the webcast, we were looking at all of those veteran running backs on the Devils and saying if he loses 2 more games, he's got a lot of guys to deal with. But that has changed in a hurry.
So on the website, he jumped up about 10 spots in the power rankings, I think, last 2 weeks.
And the other two, we're not going to talk a lot about them tonight. The other team that is really hot right now, the Sponge, winners of 4 out of their last 5, play the Devils in Week 10. I think we'll talk about that game when we get to the schedule. So that's going to settle a lot, I think, between 2 teams there in the South that might end up fighting for a wild card. Well, probably not a wild card spot, but Chief, you're going to have a tough time, I think, climbing to the top of your division if you don't win a game against the Devils. Okay, the other team I want to talk about tonight, I do want to talk about a team on this panel, the K-Wheels. 7-2. They have now surged into the lone spot atop the standings. We have a couple teams at 6-3 below them, but kind of remarkable. The K-Wheels for several years when we first were doing the webcast were the darlings of the league. Peyton Manning was letting them dominate, get out to 6-0 starts, 7-0 starts. Big battles with the Giant Killers. Came tumbling down last year when Peyton Manning disappeared. But Hank has rebuilt this team in a hurry. But I think the really interesting thing, and I flagged this on email for you guys earlier in the week, the K-Wheels are probably going to come back to the pack a little bit here. I think as a whole, the battles for divisions, the battle for the Northern Conference, the battle for the number 1 seed, it's going to be really tight. The K-Wheels have a ton of players on buys. In Week 10, it's Derek Carr, it's Marvin Jones, it's Robert Woods, a guy fresh off a 180-yard game or something. All three of those guys out in Week 10. In Week 11, it's Devontae Booker, it's Julio Jones, it's your kicker, Matt Bryant. And Matt Bryant could be really important if Blair Walsh doesn't have a job at that point. Week 13, you lose DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry and tight end Gary Barnidge. That's your top quarterback, top running back, another starting running back, 2 top receivers, your tight end, and your kicker, all still with buys to come. And a tough schedule here for the K-Wheels. The 6-3 Lizards in Week 10. The 6-3 Aliens in Week 11. The 5-4 Giant Killers in Week 13 when you have all these buys all those weeks. How many games down the stretch out of your final 4 are you optimistically hoping to win? I mean, you hope you're going to win all 4, but realistically hoping to win.
Well, look, you said it all along. Thank God we got out to a pretty good start. We've held on here. I am hoping that Doug Martin is going to show himself and be healthy, and he's going to be a key piece to this stretch run here. I'm getting Derek Carr's bye week out of the way this week, where I feel like Carson Palmer has as good of a matchup as I could hope for against San Francisco. We need to beat the Lizards this week. Getting this week is big because I think Week 11 is going to be tough because that's the week with the Aliens, and I know they have nobody on a bye. I'm going to have Julio out and Booker, who's been important, out. But if Doug Martin steps in, that's going to be a big piece. And, Week 11 against the Aliens is big. So then, then I got the Week 12 against Ralph. So hopefully with guns firing, I don't lose that one. And then the Killers Week 13, where my team is decimated in running backs. I may be starting Wendell Smallwood at that point in Week 13. So we'll see. I got to get 2 of the 4. Get to 9 wins. That'll put me in good shape to hang off, to keep Berto out of the way. And we'll see.
Chief, how many wins do you see there?
Those 4? I think 2 is probably realistic. I mean, I would bet on 2. 3 is realistic. 4 could happen. 1 is also realistic.
Mm-hmm.
That's the scary part. If I lose to the Lizards this week, I'm getting really scared.
Well, the thing is, you can afford to lose, and actually, if you're gonna lose one, you probably may as well lose to the Impact.
Not sure.
Right? Because that Lizards could be a tough one. Impact the tiebreakers a little bit. Ditto the Giant Killers. Maybe an outside chance of doing that. So in the Aliens. So yeah, I think 2 would be is a doable number and something to shoot for.
Yeah, I think if you get to 9-4, you're certainly in the hunt for the conference title. But then it's a question of, did you lose to the Aliens or the Lizards, and did one of them get to 9-4? Or if you go 1-3 and finish 8-5, then it's going to be really, really tight.
Yeah, then I got to worry about the Giant Killers, and that probably means I lost to them, and now my tiebreaker advantage is gone. So we'll see. It gets dicey. So I got it. I'm looking good right now, but it's a paper tiger at the moment. We have a lot of issues still to resolve.
A lot of big games still to come.
Yes.
Speaking of which, Chief, quick run through the schedule, and I think there's a big game or two to talk about.
Big game that you talk about. Well, the official game of the week this week was the K-Wheels and the Lizards.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like something I would choose for game of the week.
It's a big one. I got to beat them.
I mean, that's about as big as it gets right now. You know, we have two good teams heading into crunch time of the regular season. Stick mentioned the Sponge and the Dirt Devils. Sponge is getting hurt by buys this week. Andrew Luck and Amari Cooper and LaShawn McCoy all out. So that'll hurt a little bit. I've circled this game and I say, you know what, this week I can afford to lose. Let's not lose another one. Ampac against Boba Fett's. Ampax is -17 right now. I'm sure it's probably not accurate. G Killers at the Aliens. Senators Mongols. I think the loser of that game is time to look to the future. And Hams at Beavers rounds up the schedule.
It's easy to say at this time of year that everything's a big game, but everything's a big game. Beavers and Hams, Devils and Spawn. I mean, yeah, you can afford to lose one more game, Chief, but Devils are a team you should be able to beat. So.
Well, right. Yeah, I certainly don't want to lose to the Senators or to the Hams.
Exactly.
Which basically is the Devils and I think the Mongols are still on the schedule. But yeah, you know, if I want to put myself in a position to win or at least make the playoffs, I really need this game. It's just going to be tough sledding. Ryan Tannehill right now is slated for quarterback. I might make a move on that to improve that position. I think I got Slide Martellus Bennett in the lineup at running back, or a receiver and have Kenneth Dixon running back. So, you know, there's options, just nothing really great. Luck McCoy and Cooper are my three most consistent scorers, so hurts to see them out concurrently.
Yep.
All the games are big this week. All of them. You can't afford to lose right now. I mean, if you lose this week, you got to win the following week. And if you don't, you're done. And every game matters right now.
Well, and my apologies earlier for calling them cross-conference games. They're cross-division games. Mm-hmm. And again, you look at Devils, Sponge, and Beavers, Hams. Depending upon which way both of those games go, both of those divisions could be deadlocked at 5-5. Or if they go the other direction, teams can start opening up some bigger leads here, even before we get to the head-to-head action at the end of the year. Yeah, lots of big games. K-Wheels, Lizards. Our game of the week.
It's going to be tight. I'm starting Carson Palmer. I need Carson Palmer to do something and light up San Francisco a little bit. DeMarco hopefully is resting his toe today and will feel great on Sunday. And Doug Martin, come on, man. That'd be great.
Well, and Cam Newton against Kansas City. You hope Kansas City's defense is good enough to keep them.
Yep, keep them honest. That should be a tight game.
Again, looking at Rich's running backs, Paul Perkins, Duke Johnson, and Greg Olson.
Now he's gonna get Howard back in there for Chicago.
T.Y. Hilton on a bye. Even with Derek Carr out and your other bye issues, I think you got a shot. This should be a pretty even game.
Yeah, I think once he adjusts his lineup, it should be even or plus or minus one either way.
Is Doug Martin really going to be able to be a number 2 running back for you right away? I don't know.
Tampa's got nobody else is the thing I got going in my favor.
Yeah, can he handle 25 carries right out of the gate? I don't know.
I don't know. Give him 15 or 18 and let's see.
I'll take it. Yeah, I'm gonna. I'll go ahead. I'll pick the K-Wheels by 5 in this game.
All right. I love it. Let's go. Make it happen.
All right. Trivia answer.
Oh,
I feel good about this one.
One available to each of you.
I do.
Feel good about this.
So we've only been around for we've only had 19 years of playoffs. So it's it's going to be easy for a team to have not played a lot in the Pac Bowl and have 0 losses. Who's writing the Slippery Beavers?
That's me.
That's Chief.
Okay. And Hank, who do you have?
I had the Dirt Devils.
I hope I didn't mislead you. This might be a little bit of a trick question, but the only TFFL team never to lose in the Pac Bowl, and I did specify, I think, active team, is the Sponge Fishermen.
Oh man!
Come on, man.
Oh man!
I haven't clarified that.
Undefeated.
Undefeated. They're 0-0.
So
Correct.
They're undefeated in Pac Bowl.
Have the Devils lost the Pac Bowl?
The Devils have lost the Pac Bowl. Hold on.
I didn't think the Beavers that. 'Cause remember, Beavers had never made it for a while, and then they won it. And then they won it again a couple years later.
The Beavers are 2-1. Who else did we want to know about?
Devils.
Devils are 4-2.
Really? 2?
They lost fairly recently.
The Dirt Devils lost in 2012 to the Hams, 2005 to the AMPAC. The Beavers lost in 2008 to the Dirt Devils.
Okay.
All right, Chief. Any rants or reminders to wrap us up here?
Yeah, after the whole election debacle, I'm all ranted out. Reminders, trade deadline is week 11, so it leaves us about a week and a half to make the trades. It's really the only deadline there is. If you have Ravens or Browns starters, get them in before, as soon as you finish watching this webcast, get them in. Should be one hell of a game on Thursday night. And that's all I got. The
Browns are getting like prime position in the last 2 weeks. They got the Cowboys game last week, and now this week they get the Thursday night game. They suck. They're really bad and not very watchable.
They should play the 49ers every week.
Exactly. Just keep them, let them play in London every week at 9:30 in the morning.
I don't want to do it to London, but maybe Turkey or something.
London's used to no scoring. They're fine with that.
It's just brutal. And they have a real shot at going 0-16 this year.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Amanda.
I just want to say that the fact that the webcast is on is giving me hope. If I came home and this wasn't happening, then I was going to be like, we are halfway to hell in that handbasket. So
we got to move forward.
Amanda, America is going to be great again. All right.
One of my clients today is obsessed with this. This is all he wants to talk about. He's like, with this,
with
the
with
webcast.
the TFFL webcast?
Yes.
Why wouldn't you?
No, I didn't talk about the election at all today. I'm a fucking massage therapist.
Is he one of our fans?
He's a huge fan. Like this, he's like is so intrigued. He's like, my league is so lame. We don't ever even see each other.
Does he watch it?
Excited about the new features.
Is this where the extra views are coming from? I noticed some of our webcasts have got like 28 views. And I'm like, what?
Oh, he didn't know that he could view it. No, I'll tell him. He'll totally watch it.
All right.
Really excited. Yeah, CJ.
Trying to build a following.
All right. Bye. Thank you.
That's fantastic.
I'm not sure people can find them outside of our distribution list. So
I have to make it public because we don't password protect it. So in theory, people could find it. Yes.
He said he would write in. He said he would be in the mailbag.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Actual viewer comments.
nice.
Yes, there you go. So send me the link.
All right. Well, we have a lot of catching up to do if we want to match the K-pop tree.
The K-pop tree's way out there.
That's like 2,000 views. Okay, well, week 10 action ahead starting tomorrow night. Good luck to everybody. Aliens need to stop our little slide here. Chief, everything's a big game for you as you try to get back to 500.
Same script, different year.
Yep. Hank, alone atop the league right now. You got a tough stretch as we've talked about.
Yep. I've been winning the games I needed to, though. I'm three in a row. We're feeling good. We're starting the tough stretch here with the bye weeks, but let's go. If we're going to win, let's win.
Rooting for you against the Lizards.
Thank you.
And then we'll have a big head-to-head matchup to talk about in week 11. But yeah, in the meantime, good luck to everybody in week 10. We'll be back here I won't be back here next week. You guys will. I'll see you in a couple weeks. Take care.
We're not gonna get a good K-Wheels Aliens SmackDown webcast preview.
No.
See, now you were giving Berto a hard time by not dialing in from Mexico. Why don't you dial in from Palm Beach or wherever you are?
The keys. I might be able to do that.
Why not?
Did I give Berto a hard time for that?
No, that was me.
That was somebody. Sorry, Chief. I'm projecting Chief's comments onto you. I apologize.
I might be able to do it.
Why not?
Well, we'll give you a hard time later.
All right. Okay. Good luck, everybody. See you soon. Take care.
All right.